I'm Chris Berman. Let's get straight to the action. In our first game this week, we had the Eagles put on a display and win by 21 points. The Jaguars lost this one, but will stay at number 3 in the AFC South. Number 80 stepped it up this week and gave his team some added firepower for the win. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Saints pick up their 8th win of the year. Lions, Cowboys pick up their 8th. Sanders got the ball here, and it was a defensive meltdown. He's got lots of space ahead. The Lions win this one by the final score of 41-31. Thomas had over 50 yards receiving and helped his Bills beat the Ravens. Way up in the northern plains in Minnesota, we had the Vikings lose by 6 points. Over in the stadium, we had the Oilers put on a display and win by 21 points. Raiders, Jets win by 20. Number 47 would come up with the big play to kill a drive as he was able to step in front of a wayward pass for an INT. The Raiders go on to win this by the final score of 23-17. The Titans erupted for 400-plus offensive yards in their victory at Nashville. The Buccaneers lost at home in their final game of the year. The Colts lost this one, but will stay at number 1 in the AFC South. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Boomer, thanks. Before we get to the big news of the week, let's do a quick shakedown on the rest of the NFL's injuries. This guy is arguably the biggest name on this list. He's suffering from a stress fracture in his foot, and he'll be out for the rest of the regular season. Now we'll move on to our top story of the day. This guy is going to find himself in street clothes for the time being, and that'll be a major blow to this club. So that'll do it for now. Boomer, back to you.
Packers, Bears. Number 84 was definitely a key as he was able to work his way open for a big one here. The Bears go on to win this by the final score of 34-13. The Redskins win yet again this week and keep their impressive streak alive. In a long-standing AFC rivalry, we had the Bengals win their 10th game of the season. And last but not least, we had the Broncos come away victorious.
All right, Chris, thanks. All right, folks, our playoff picture has now been officially finalized. So let's take a look at it now, shall we? We'll begin with a look at the AFC. And now, checking things out over in the NFC playoff race. So the playoff matchups are set in stone, and we should have a few games that put the Wild into Wild Card Weekend. And that'll do it from here. Chris, let's send it back over to you.
And then there were 12, the playoffs, right around the corner, which means it's time for our regular season awards. But first, my primetime players. The final round of game balls go to these Warriors, each with a standout performance in the final game of the regular season. All right, as promised, here's a look at this year's best of the best, our season-ending NFL awards. Tom Brady, without a doubt, is going to take home the hardware in this one. You see the numbers on your screen, but numbers really don't tell the whole story. Leadership, work ethic, love of the game, that's what truly makes him stand out. He had, without question, the best year of anyone. Number 81 grabbed a lot of balls and now grabs the Offensive Player of the Year. I usually figure this award goes to a running back or QB, but I'll tell you, there was no one that had better numbers than him, period. Number 45 gets the nod as our Defensive Player of the Year, and I'll tell you what, there was no one better at taking quarterbacks and receivers alike completely out of their game. Great season. Randy Moss comes away with the Offensive Rookie of the Year award. Here's a guy that stepped in and demonstrated he belonged in this league almost from the get-go. He's got a heck of a bright future ahead. Number 41 is our Defensive Rookie of the Year. It's hard to think of another defensive back the last few years that's come in and made this type of impact. There'll be something special down the road. Terrell Davis ran away with the rushing title this year. Talk about a threat out of the backfield, my friends. Finesse, speed, a surprising amount of power, which he used to bowl over the few who actually managed to lay a finger on him. What a year. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.